So here we're looking at rounding to significant figures with numbers that are larger than 1. So round to one significant figure, 57,671. So we need to understand a few of the rules of the rounding here. So when we are looking to round one significant figure, first of all, the first number that we come across that isn't a 0 is the start of our count of significant figures. So 5 here is our significant figure, and we are looking then to lose these numbers here. So the one that's of importance to us is the first one after the significant figure we're looking at. This 7 falls here. Now, anything that falls on this side of the 5 and above means that we add 1 to the column in front of it. So this 5 here becomes a 6. We can lose the 7, the 6, the 7 and the 1, but we do need to maintain their place value so that the 6 remains 60,000. So that's what we'd have. The numbers after the first significant figure get replaced by zeros to hold place value. Then anything here that would fall 4 or below, we can just turn to a 0. We'll get into some examples of that now. Round to one significant figure, 3,732. So again, this is our first significant figure, and we're only looking for the 1. So we're looking at this number as to what we do here. It is past that 5, so it will add 1 to that column, which means that this would become a 4, and these 3 numbers here would become zeros. So 4,000 is 3,732 rounded to one significant figure. Let's have a look at a few more examples. Still rounding to one significant figure. Again, 6 here is the first number of significance in this list. So we're looking to lose these again. We look at this number. It is below that 5, so we can just replace that with a 0. So this would become a straight 6 million when rounded to one significant figure. Round this following number then to one significant figure. So here we've got a decimal. Now the beauty with significant figures is that when we count across, this is still our first number of significance, and the others we're not too worried about. We need to lose these. We need to look at this. This is going to round up and add 1 to the next column. So we still have the same process. This 3 becomes a 4. We need to make sure we leave our decimal place where it is, and those numbers are replaced with zeros. And in this case, we can just write 4, because those zeros on the right-hand side of that decimal place hold no value, so we can lose those without changing the value of that 4. Round to two significant figures now. So we're going to round this number to 2 significant figures. This is our first number of significance, so this would be our second. So this is the one we're looking at what we're going to do with. We need to lose that 3. The 3 is below 5, so it will have no effect, so it can be replaced with a 0. And we keep the first 2 significant figures. So 943 rounded to 2 significant figures is 940. Let's have a look at another one. 2 significant figures again. This is our first number of significance, second number of significance. These are the ones that we're looking to convert to zeros if we can. Yes, that 3 is in the lower half, so it's under 5. So we can just replace both the 3 and the 5 with zeros, and the 4 and the 5 stay where they are. Rounding to 2 significant figures again. Now, this is our first significant figure, and although this is a 0, in this instance we do count it, because once you've started counting your figures, even if that's a 0, we still count that as a significant figure once we've hit something above 0. It's become a little bit more clear when we hit some more of the decimals that I've got coming up. So this 3 is in the lower half of those figures, it's below 5, so it can be replaced with a 0. So that's what we're doing. 60,342 rounded to 2 significant figures is still 60,000. Here we've got a decimal. This is our first number of significance, our second number of significance, so we're looking to change these. That 1 is in the lower half of our digits, so that can be replaced with a 0. And the 8.3 stays where it is. In this case, if we lost those zeros, It has no effect on the value because we are on the right hand side of that decimal point. So our final answer would be 8.3. Rounding to three significant figures. So again, as with 2, that's our first, that's our second, and that's our third. So we're looking at converting these to zeros if we can. 4 is in the bottom half, so we can replace that with zeros. And so our 3, 7, and 5 stay as they are. So we'd round that to 37,500. Here again, even with the decimal, same process. First number of significance, second and third. We're looking at losing this. This is in that upper half, so it will add 1 to the next column. So in this case, that's going to add 1 to the 9, make it 10. So that's going to replace that with a 0, and it's going to add 1 to this column, so that becomes 4. So 8.40000. In this case, that would be our answer. Personally, if we're asked to round to three significant figures, I would keep that 0 because that's a number of significance. It's that third column that we're trying to keep. So here we're going to look at rounding significant figures with numbers that are less than 1. So we've been asked to round to one significant figure, this number, 0.973. We need to work out which is our first significant figure. Now, unlike the other numbers, this number starts with a 0. This 0, because it has no value, we're not interested in, so we don't call it significant. So our first significant figure will be this 9. So that's where we need to round to. So we're looking to convert both of these to zeros if we can. This 7 does mean that we're going to add 1 to the next column because it's in that top half of our range. So we're going to add 1. So we're going to have 0, 0. We're going to add 1 to the 9, which is going to make it 10, which means that we carry across into the ones column. So we end up with the number 1. Round to one significant figure, in this case, the answer would be 1, because those zeros aren't going to affect the value if we get rid of them because they're on that right-hand side of the decimal point. Next one, round to one significant figure, 0.47. So the same scenario here. This is our first significant figure. We're looking to chop here. That 7 will add 1 to the next column. So this becomes 0.500. So I'll lose those zeros, again, because they won't change the value of the number because they're on that right-hand side of the decimal. So 0.5. So that is 0.477 rounded to one significant figure.